What's up guys, Epic Tim here. Wanted to get a quick update video out there to show you exactly what's going on. So I had to make some quite major changes to the cross member that goes across here and holds the spring cups up. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's a four-door problem or what, but I had to cut the back of this cross member out a little bit to get everything to move farther forward. When I did that, it pushed the coil springs into the floor, so I had to cut the floor out and take a piece of tubing and weld it in, make it all nice, or nice enough as it is right now, and then kind of redo these plates that were supposed to cover this up. So instead of taking one of these guys now and holding it up there and welding it all in like it's supposed to be just like that, I went ahead and just boxed it all in, and what I'm going to work on next is finish welding out all these edges and everything and totally clean it up. Also am going through the process of making some cover plates for the old shock locations, since we will not be using these on this kit. Got this side all buttoned up as well, got the edge banged up, gonna clean and address a little bit more of that before we weld it in. But I think what the issue was, and I don't know if this is designed this way or not, but this spring cup on the lower arm is welded on just maybe a little bit too far forward or something. I don't know. Steve, if you watch this ever, give me a shout or leave a comment and let us know if that was supposed to be there to get this to line up right, or what was going on. Maybe it's a four-door problem. I'm not really sure. So here's the cross member that I had to modify a little bit. Not the most amazing job you've ever seen, but it's good for garage build. What I ended up doing was cutting about ½ inch or so off the edge of this and welding in the strip. I'm going to button the end of this up a little bit better so it fits in the car a little cleaner. But the idea that I've got right now is I'll put this in, mark the holes while it's up there of where these spring bars go for making the adjustments on those coil springs, take that cross member back out, drill those holes out to about 1 inch or so that these fit through, and it'll make for a really clean finished install. That's all I got for right now. We're gonna get to welding, putting some different things in. I'm gonna come back and finish this video up in a little bit. Okay, we're still in the middle of progress, but I got a quick update for you. We've got a whole bunch of work done. Greg came over, and huge help to him for getting some of this squared up. I've got all the plates welded in. Greg went ahead and applied seam sealer to all these areas. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna paint the parts that we're not going to be able to spray with rust bullet, and that's going to keep this down and any future issues coming, so we don't get any additional rot and other problems down the road. The places that are going to be covered by this cross member is what I'm going to hit right now, and then later, once everything's all welded in permanently, we're going to go ahead and get the spray gun out and try and do a little bit nicer semi-professional job. Obviously, guys, remember, we're building a street car. We're not building a show car here. There's no need to get all crazy on this stuff. And then James has a couple of questions of different things that he messaged me on, so let's take a look at that real quick. First question he had is there any modifications necessary to where he can't go back to stock? And the answer is, yeah, absolutely no way in heck you're going to go back to stock. So as we can see right here is where the spring hanger goes. I'm not sure if this was the left side or the right side, but this bar goes right through where the spring hanger needs to go. So to go back to stock means you would have to cut that bar out and weld this guy back on. Probably no one ever gonna do that ever, so I'm gonna say that no, once you do this, you cannot go back to stock. But if for whatever reason you don't like it, you can surely take this all out and go with like a TCI or something on a Heights, maybe, whatever else you like. Just a lot of cutting and welding to make that happen. So the next question that James had was, are there any weight savings? And I'm going to start off by saying, heck no. Adding these things alone is more than the cost of the leaf springs that you removed. Also, on my particular application, we're going with a 9-inch differential, custom housing, and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're adding a couple of 100 pounds at least to the rear end of this thing. There are no weight savings with this kit whatsoever. James also asked if there's any disadvantages to this, and I'll say that, yeah, there's a few. Cost for sure is one. This is a weld-in kit, so if you don't have access to a welder, if you don't know how to weld, you're going to be reliant on a shop or somebody else to install this for you and set it up. The instructions are kind of vague in a little areas. You got to kind of know a little bit about putting a suspension together to get all this installed correctly and lined up appropriately. There's an opportunity where you could get into some trouble, or you may just be thoroughly confused if you don't know exactly how all this goes together on just a general knowledge basis. James also asked, what about ride quality with passengers and noise? I have no first-hand experience with this kit. I can't tell you anything about that. I suggest you call Steve at Hotrods to Hell if you want to find out more about the drivability and daily issues that this thing might have, or any other comfort complaints that you might get. Obviously, once we get this thing on the road, we'll wrap up a review and kind of a recap of what I think of everything and the whole process, and we'll kind of get you some more information, but that's going to be a few months down the road. I'm just going to go through and pan around and show you some of the welding. We'll clean this up and go through some different details here. We're going to come back in and cut wheel tubs into this frame all the way up to this edge, so I'm not too worried about this and this at the moment because it's all going away. Coming around, checking out some of this is the welding that Steve and his crew did. This is what I did. Here's the cross member in front of the wheel. The diagonal bar, main truck arm is all welded in. Subframe connectors, and I think I'm going to add a bar right here yet. I just need to get some steel myself because that didn't come with the kit. Some of his older kits did, but it's apparently not necessary, but I see it as a valuable investment since I'm already in here and doing some of this stuff as well. Here we go, day 3, editing day. Got one more question. Jeremy asked why a truck arm kit or why a 2-link, and my answer is always going to be the same. I've been trying to put this car together for a while, but if you don't know, I'm trying to build a street car, and 2-link is a great overall suspension. It's good at a lot of stuff, but is not amazing at any one thing. There is a reason they use this on NASCAR setups. I'm not going to go into those details, but essentially, I don't want a cone killer dedicated for autocross. I don't want a drag car only running 1/8 or 1/4 mile. I want a really good street car, something that I can take out, drive to the track, drive to an autocross event, play around. Probably not going to be competitive. Not looking to set any records. I want something that's reliable and really fun, and the truck arm kit is going to handle all of that for me. It's adjustable on the fly. You can change spring rates if you really want to very easily. Springs are cheap, shocks are independent, so I don't have to mess with coilovers, and I can fine-tune everything that I want. And honestly, once this thing's all set together and done and on the ground, it's going to look pretty killer too. So I've got no complaints really so far, other than there's a little more fit and finishing that I had to do to put it all together, but so far it's going just perfect. So here's one tip. Greg pointed out, he said it'd be a great idea to put a piece of tubing on here, and what we've got is a piece of 1/2 inch tall, very heavy wall round tubing. I think it was about 4 inch or so. And what that's going to do is going to give me a nice position to put the jack on the diff and not damage the drain plug. So props to Greg for pointing that out. I think it's going to be a great addition to this custom Fab 9 housing. And you can also see that we've got rust bullet first application. I left this bare and I left the sides bare where I'm going to be welding that spring cross member in. I've got my holes drilled and everything set up for the jack screws to go straight up into the trunk, and it's looking pretty good on the top. I'm going to have to do a little bit more work with seam sealer to make all that happen, but so far we're coming along real nice. Hope to have another update video in about a week or so. So on the next video, we're going to take this axle out and start to set some different details for final widths. I've got this roughed in right now. I think I might take it in just a little bit more because I'd like to run a 9 or maybe even a 10-inch wheel in the back of here. The goal is to put a 275 wide tire all the way around so I can run stuff on any corner and it doesn't make a difference. So if you'd like to see some more details on how to build your own custom 9-inch axle, we're going to have a video coming up on that real soon. Stick around, it may already be out. Again, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you don't like it, hit thumbs down twice. Give me a subscribe if you want to see some more content, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks.